Most rental problems are not caused by tenants. They're caused by disorganized systems. Trying to remember everything, digging through old emails, checking bank balances trying to figure out what's due, wondering if you forgot something, not knowing where your numbers stand. That mental clutter adds up. After over 11 years of managing rental properties, the one thing that I've learned is that systems really do matter. And one of the biggest tools that I use here is Quicken Classic, Business, and Personal. Now, this is not going to be a deep tutorial on how to use Quicken. My wife actually has an entire channel focused on how to use Quicken over at Confident Finance. Kelly teaches the setup. I'm talking about how I actually use this stuff operationally. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go check out her channel. This video is more about how I personally use it, how it fits into my rental workflow, and why I think systems matter so much when managing rental properties. So let's go over here and open up Quicken. And just FYI, I'm using, I think I already mentioned, Quicken Classic, Business, and Personal. This is the version that includes all of the rental property tools. You can use Deluxe, or I forget what the other version is. You can use those for rental properties, but they don't include all the tools that the Classic Business and Personal has. So it's not the best way to do it, but you can use categories and tags to categorize your rental property expenses. It's just not the best way. It's not the way Quicken designed it. With Classic, Business, and Personal, you have the rent center. And this is basically the operational side of my rental business. On the accounts bar, this is where all of your banking takes place. You have your rental checking accounts, savings accounts, your different LLCs, your business credit cards if you have those. This could be business cards that are in the business name, or just personal cards that you use for business only. You have your loan accounts over here and property related accounts. One of the biggest things that I stress is separation. And I'm not going to get into LLCs and pros and cons of each. There's a plethora of that out there. And you know how the old joke goes about opinions and butts. We all have them and they all stink. So I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is just keeping your rental activity separate from your personal activity. This is going to make life so much easier for bookkeeping, for taxes, for reporting, for making, for decision making. All these things are so much easier if you have your business separated from your personal life. So that's why we have our LLC set up. I'm not saying that's the best way to do it or anything. It's just how we organize this inside our system inside Quicken. As you can see, I have my personal accounts minimized here, and this is a nice feature that Quicken has. You can maximize or minimize your business, rental, or your personal tabs here, accounts, so that you can focus on certain ones. Again, that's another way to help keep things separate. Okay, we scroll down further here, still in the accounts bar. We have our assets and liabilities. Here's the property and debt section. Up here at the top, you notice in the black, of course, if it's in black in Quicken, that is an asset. If it's in red, it's a liability. So here's your property value accounts here. Your escrow accounts, of course, is a asset to you. This would be money that you either put aside yourself or have to pay to a mortgage company for your property taxes and insurance and so forth. That money's yours until it's spent on the item. So even though somebody is holding that money for you, it's still your asset. So that's why it's in the black. And that's why it's listed here under the asset section. Then we move down to the loan balances. That brings us into our liabilities against your properties. Your security deposits, those are liabilities because that's not your money, that's your tenant's money, you're holding it for them. So it's just the opposite of an escrow account. You're holding money for your tenants that you have to either pay back or apply toward rental damages or back rent at some point. And you might want to check with your state laws for how to do this properly, because different states do things differently. I like being able to see at a glance very quickly what I own, what I owe, and how everything is connected together. Now let's go over to the rental property tab here at the Rent Center. This is where I can quickly see my properties, my tenants, vacancies, rent due dates, monthly totals. This is the kind of thing that reduces mental clutter. That's why it's so important. Instead of trying to remember everything, the system keeps track of it. And why is there duplicate properties here? Oh, this is a Quicken file we use just for demos. My wife must have been using this for something. I'm wondering why there's multiple properties here of the same unit. We don't even own anything on Oak Street. Anyway, Kelly's just getting into my files here. Let's click over on the profit and loss here. This is really cool. Here you can view all of your properties at once, or you can view them individually. You can look at different time periods. You're able to quickly see your income, your expenses, and how profitable your business is. I don't want to wait until tax season to understand what's happening in my business. I want visibility throughout the entire year, especially toward the end, the last few months. This makes tax planning much easier. It makes decisions to buy or to sell much easier to make. I start thinking of whether I want or need to buy or sell a property before the end of the year. I start thinking of that back in September, maybe October or so. So it's nice to have those numbers right there that you can look at and make your plans accordingly. Now I'm going to slow down a little bit through here because this is one of the biggest things that Quicken has, one of the most powerful features that Quicken has. Here is the projected balances feature. Here's where you can see the projected balances of your accounts at any given time. It defaults here to 12 months, so like I can look out to, let's see here, a year out, and you can see your balance 22,000 in this account. One down here we've got 10,000. So this is what helps you to plan for your future, to see how much money you're going to have available at the end of the year for either buying properties or doing repairs and maintenance. And I say repairs and maintenance with a grain of salt because you also want to set up a savings account for that stuff. That's not in this here, so this is a separate from your savings account. We put money. We have automatic transfers that go into your savings account every month to pay for general stuff. But for high dollar things, like you might do extra maintenance on your property, you might have to replace a furnace. It's nice to be able to plan out like this and look into the future. Like for instance, we can click over here and click on custom, and you can actually put your own date in there. Let's go out 10 years. 2036. So you can see how it stretches out your accounts there. So that same one that's doing good, we've got all of our properties filled there. You know what? This has been the first time in probably 2 years we have had all of our properties occupied. It's been a relief. And I know anything can come around the corner, so that's what it is in this business. But it's nice to have every property cash flowing. We went through a few years, at least, I think 2 years of some couple really bad tenants. I've learned from that experience. And I'm going to be making some videos, honestly, on the things that I've learned. I'm going to make some videos in the future. And I've gotten better at screening, I want to say. I always thought I was good. And it's the thing about with rental properties, you don't know. People are just getting really bad. And they're really good at hiding it. So, I mean, I always thought I was good with screening, but few bad eggs slipped through. And we've had some damages. You've seen some of my other videos. I had to put a lot of money into those places to fix them up. Fortunately, I do a lot of work myself. Whenever I want to save a little money, and I'll do work myself. But anyway, it's nice to have all of our units filled up and cash flowing. So that's why this, looking back over here, 10 years into the future here, so we got a balance of 200 grand. Now that doesn't mean we're going to have 200 grand in there in 10 years, because I will obviously be pulling money out to purchase. If I find a deal, I'm going to purchase another rental. You have things like your furnaces that go $3,000 there, $4,000 here and there. Roofing repairs, $4 or $5,000. You might need a whole entire roof. So that can very well dwindle down to $5 or $6 by the end, but it won't be that low. But see, this helps you to plan for the future. In fact, I see some issues here. Something's going in the negative in one of our accounts. $4,000 in the negative by July of 35. So, and that's not a big deal, because it doesn't look like it's going to happen until, going by this, around 2032. So we have plenty of time to prepare for that and cut down on some of the expenses in that property. Take less money out. We take money out of our units to live off of. So that's just maybe one last vacation or something. You just have to plan things accordingly. We pull our money out as we need it. We want to pull a little bit less out of there. That's all. But there's time. That's why I wanted to talk about this projected balance feature, because this is extremely powerful. Our other accounts here, so 55 grand in there. That won't. I don't usually keep that much in my properties, so even though this is off in the future, I transfer much of this into savings as we have as we have extra funds. These either go into savings, or I take them out to live off of. I'll transfer some out and purchase another rental property, something like that. I like to keep at least $5 or $6,000 in each checking account. Anything more than that, I transfer into savings to earn a little bit more interest. I know it's not much today, but every little bit helps. I'd rather have 50 grand in the savings account drawing interest than sitting in a checking account drawing squat. And I can transfer it over within a few minutes if I need it for something. So anyway, I just wanted to spend a little more time on that projected balances. This helps me to think ahead instead of reacting to problems after they happen or while they're happening. This makes rental properties become much easier to manage when you can see problems coming early. Now let's close this out and we'll go over to account overview. Here you can see your balances for your checking and savings accounts. Liabilities, of course, are in red. Your credit usage, rental accounts are here. Everything is connected all in one place. This is a powerful screen. You can look at all of your numbers all in this one screen. This is a way that you can see your total net worth down here of the business, your business net worth. One of the biggest advantages of having systems like this is reducing chaos. You stop guessing where you stand or where your business is at financially. Over here on the far right, we have where we can add transactions, properties and tenants. Here's your reports section. This is really nice. You click here, drop down, and you can see your cash flow reports are here. Schedule E reports, other tax related reports, your property reports. And again, I'm not doing a deep dive into tutorials here. I'm just showing you the operational tools that I personally rely on for my rental business. Quicken is just a part of the overall system that I use to manage my rentals. Over time, I may talk more about my communication tools, my phone systems, phone numbers that I have set up for different purposes, how I organize my documents, Excel sheets, Word, and so forth, advertising, photos and pictures, stuff like that, how I do my backups, the equipment that I use, the AI tools that I use. I've been using a lot of AI tools for my rental business that they're phenomenal, the things that you can do with AI today. I know some people are anti-AI, and they have their reasons. It can be a problem, I'm not gonna lie, but it has created a heck of a lot of tools that are extremely powerful that I would not have had access to if it wasn't for AI. So that's all I'll say about that. Powerful AI tools. I'm probably going to talk about some of the other software products that I use. I'm going to talk about my operational workflows, how I do those, how I organize my systems. Just a final thought here. You do not need a perfect system, but you do need a system. So if you want more real-world rental property workflows like this, systems and tools, then subscribe, and that way you won't miss out on any of my future videos. If you want detailed Quicken tutorials, like how to use Quicken Classic Business and Personal for your rental properties, for your self-employment, your business, or even just for personal, they've got some great products for just personal use as well. Check out my wife's channel, Confident Finance. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, this is Kevin with the Compulsive Investor channel.